So welcome to the Teen Tech Talk. Tonight my name is Casey Greer. A lot of you probably know me, but tonight I'm so honored to have three teens with us who are extremely talented in the tech world. They all have such talent, and I'm always blown away by how much they know. So I think we're going to learn a lot from them tonight. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a second, but I do have some questions for them. And then afterward, we're going to open it up if any of you have questions for them. Of course, they are young, they are teens. They're not necessarily experts in this field, but they're going to share with you what they know. So they might not be able to answer every single thing, but they're pretty talented. So I
We'll
think
do our best.
they'll do their
Yep.
best. Exactly. Um, so um, let's get started. I'll just call on you all to introduce yourselves, and you can say, by the way, all three of these people have albinism. I think that's pretty obvious, but just wanted to, these are PWAs. So you can say your name and kind of how you got your start being involved in tech, or how you're involved in tech. So let's start with Nuala.
So, hi everyone. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Nuala, and I am a freshman in college, and I'm a math major. I got my start in tech kind of in an odd way. I originally had a love for science, and then that turned into adding on a love for math, and then adding on a love for tech. And now here we are, a programmer 2 years later.
Awesome. Thanks, Nuala. All right, AJ.
Hi, I'm in Foreman. Kind of got into tech from COVID boredom during the summer when I noticed that YouTube suggested one of the the Apple developer event, and currently going in currently planning to be a software engineer as my major.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. And then Leah.
Hi, my name is Leah. I am 18 and I'm a junior in high school. I'm actually homeschooled. But I'll say my path with technology, I've always been fascinated with it. Ever since I was born, basically. We have videos, my parents have talked about times that I was interested in it ever since they adopted me at 3.5. But I got my first device when I was about 8 years old. It was an iPod Touch, and I used it to listen to my music because I couldn't see my MP3 player anymore. But my first exposure to really being able to learn technology wasn't until I was about 10 years old, in 2017, when I got my first iPad. And ever since, I've been a very passionate Apple fan and collector. And it has grown to just having an appreciation for technology and wanting to um, be able to help make the world more accessible with technology. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you all for being here. And Leah, I'm glad you brought that up, because this is why we're doing this talk is, you know, people with albinism, obviously we have low vision, varying degrees of low vision. And so tech can be so helpful and can make things accessible to us. So that's kind of what we're going to focus on in this tech talk, is the accessibility. So obviously, as Leah said, Leah's a big Apple fan. I know not everyone here, some people here may be an Android user. So we're going to try to talk about things, not just Apple, but I know Leah mostly will probably be talking about Apple. But so I'll go backwards in that backwards order. I'll start with you, Leah, this time with our first question. So what are some of your favorite accessibility features on your phone or laptop or tablet? How do you make that accessible to you?
Yeah, so my first experience with accessibility on my devices was with Zoom. So I use any type of Zoom. Typically on Apple products, that's just called Zoom. Being able to just blow up the screen and then use my cursor or just drag around to see things. Um, but in later years, kind of in more recent years, probably within the past 2.5 years, my vision has degraded. So I've not been able to see my phone anymore very easily. So I've been learning and using VoiceOver more. But I also use like dark mode, inverted colors, bold text. I also enlarge my text. But I've messed around with just about every accessibility setting on iPhone. I am learning Android, so I think on there it's called magnifier, and then also talkback. And I recently got into a program with Google, so I am learning how to use those settings and really excited to be able to add to my knowledge. But my primary features are generally inverted colors and zoom, with voiceover or talkback close behind. I've also used JAWS on Windows computers and NVDA. I prefer JAWS over NDVA, I'm sorry. But I know that one's free, and it works. It's fine. But I prefer voiceover because I can hear the voices a little bit better. They're a little more crisper and I'll say more premium, natural sounding. But I've used all of those.
Awesome. And if anyone's interested in a part two one day, we may, come on here and actually show how we do it. But this is kind of just a talk kind of to start us off. And we will be taking questions. If you want to add a question in the chat, we'll be taking questions after this. So, all right. So thank you, Leah. And then AJ, what about you? What are some of your favorite ways to make your phone or computer accessible to you visually?
As Leah mentioned dark mode in every app that currently supports it, reader mode on websites if supported, and this is a new thing, the ability to hide elements on websites for those that don't support them. Usually it's just stuff that pops up in the middle of articles. Another great thing, the onboard magnifier app on iPhone, although you could just get away with using the default camera app if you really needed to.
Yes, I love the magnifier on the iPhone as well. Awesome. And then Nuala, what about you?
Hi, so some of the ways that I love to make my tech accessible, I can actually tell you and show you if you can see it. So the first thing that I have is large icons. And that just is kind of what it sounds like. Then you have obviously dark mode as well. You have large text, and of course that's my notification for this event. And I also have added a shortcut where if I tap the side of my phone, the home button a couple times, it will turn on and off voiceover. So those are some of my favorite ways to make my tech accessible. And also asking for help and doing research when I'm just not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. For our next question, I'll start with you, AJ. We'll just kind of go in this in this different order every time. So, do you have any favorite apps, AJ, that help you with low vision, or any apps that you like?
Uh, as of right now, I've noticed that Roboca is just easier to work with one-handed. It for magnifier, higher, but most of the stuff is stuff that either stock to talk or in the case of my home screen, because it's easier to read white on black, something that you can set up.
Awesome. Yeah,
But if
Roboca, if anyone
that's
has,
what, okay,
oh,
it's like
sorry, you were
flipping, but
cutting
it
out a
like
little
that's what
bit.
that looks like. And my video just died.
Yeah, sorry, you were cutting out. I wasn't trying to interrupt.
No,
Or
no, I just
maybe
saw
it was
my video
it could have
entirely
been
die.
me. But Reboca is an app that one of our own, a person with albinism, Rebecca Rosenberg, created, and that's a great magnifying app. So I can put that in the chat for everyone, Reboca. But
I just put that in the chat.
oh, you put it in the chat. Thank you, Leah. So Leah put it in the chat. Yeah, that is made by a person with albinism, so that's pretty cool. And Leah, what about you? Some favorite apps?
Am I unmuted? Okay.
Oh,
There we
you're
go.
good. Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my favorite apps, I started out with the magnifier app just built into iPhone, back in the day. I still use it mostly for my schoolwork. It's set up with inverts. It's actually set up with grayscale inverted colors, and so that's what I use. Um, for reading documents and my schoolwork. I use Roboca for reading menus and seeing in the distance. I absolutely love the stabilization it has, and just being able to swipe up to zoom and down. And the buttons are very easy to see as well. I also use Be My Eyes on occasion, the AI description feature that's built in is absolutely amazing. I got to test it out at my state's zoo here, and it was really cool to be able to do that. It did an amazing job. I've also used Oko, which is I'll put all these apps links in the chat for you guys. But Oko is an application that allows you to be able to hear what the signals are, traffic signals are, to safely cross streets at the right time. It's not supposed to be 100% relied on, but it's super helpful and just in showing that you're crossing at the right time. It used to be free, and I actually used to be a tester for it, but unfortunately, it is not free any longer. So it does cost some money to get it, and then I'm pretty sure it's a subscription-based platform now, and I want to say it's like $30 a year or something like that. I don't remember. I can easily look that up if anyone is curious. But those are what I've used on my Apple products and that I've really liked for visual aid. On Android, there is Google Lookout, and I've only used it a handful of times. It does an okay job. You do also have Be My Eyes, which is awesome. And then on Google Pixel, at least, there is Magnifier. And this is basically it's essentially the same version of Magnifier on Apple products. It's just on Android. So that's what I have used that is specifically visual aid and that I have liked.
Awesome. Very nice. Nula, what about you?
So some of my favorite low vision apps, the first is an app that is built into iPhone. Whatever phone you're on camera can do this. It's the magnifier app. I actually have my dining hall's menu on it right now. So you can take pictures and zoom in extremely close on it. You also have a wider range of zoom with magnifier. I know not everyone is probably going to be able to see this because zoom camera quality, hooray. But you have a really wide range of zooming in on this app. I also like the free app. I don't think you even need to make an account for it. It's called Claro PDF. So if you're anything like me, adulting equals paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. So Claro is free, have a lot of tools. You can zoom in really big with it as well. And it's a PDF editor. So sadly, you won't be able to open anything else, but you can turn things to PDFs from images, I think from Word documents, Google Docs. And the other thing I like is the Google Suite. It's also good for document enlargement, bridging the gap for other file formats. And the fourth, I will actually say, is something that my orchestra teacher uses called Finale. So if any of you are musicians, this app is an app. It does cost money, and I believe that a lot of people from Finale have to move over to other apps. But music enlargement software like Finale, I believe there's Sibelius, those are great because you can enlarge your music. And MuseScore, I think, is one of the other ones, so that's one of my other favorites. And the last is Seeing AI, actually. Seeing AI is amazing and really good at reading when other apps won't do the trick.
Awesome. Yeah, Karen says PDF equals adulting. I was going to ask about an app for those. Yeah, the PDFs can be hard sometimes because you can't always zoom into them very easily.
Yeah, I'll send the app name in the chat, and it is free. So
I'm loving this chat discourse, by the way. We are going to get to those questions, so keep them coming. Thank you for sending them. And I see Leah has been responding some, so thanks, Leah, for that. But all right. So my next question, and we'll start with, I think we started with AJ last time. So I'll start with Leah. So Leah, something about tech that you think everyone with low vision should know, or maybe they don't know, but you think everyone should know. Tell us your secrets.
That's a tough question. There's so much to learn and know about technology. I always tell people that I learned how to use technology simply by pressing buttons, Googling, and using YouTube. Also, a little bit of people that I knew, but I don't have a lot of friends who are tech savvy, so it was a lot of on my own. And so in my head, I would say one of the best tools is probably Google or nowadays ChatGPT and that type of thing. Um, those are so helpful in not just visual aid and getting resources, but also learning so much that way or filtering out research and things. I absolutely love that. I would also say being able to get into groups like this or Discord groups and things to find help is absolutely amazing, and that is has helped me a ton. Um, but yeah, I would say that's probably some of my biggest advice that I would tell people um, right off the bat.
Well, Leah, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I figure since it's public, did you want to share that you do some help online for people?
Yeah, I can easily do that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I run a YouTube channel called iAccessibility. I will put the link in the chat here. Eventually as I finish up answering some questions I see that are being put in. But it's called iAccessibility. We'll see if you can see this. I'll turn off my background. So I run this YouTube channel, and basically what I do is I share ways to use technology as a visually impaired or blind person, as well as just general features and um, abilities that you can do on technology. I do mostly do Apple products at the moment. I'm hoping to expand onto Android and computers eventually, but since that is what I've known the most, that is what I usually do. I'm also developing a website for this channel, and that will be used to provide personal um, consulting to help teach how to use technology or set up technology as a visually impaired person, or in general if you need help. Also buying consulting, I do a lot of advice. I give a lot of advice to my friends here on what they should and shouldn't get depending on what they need and their budget, and they appreciate that a lot. But yeah, so the website is not fully developed, but I am trying to make it accessible. Right now it is accessible in light and dark mode, and it's probably about 90% voiceover and screen reader accessible. And I'll put that link in the chat for you guys. But that's what I do for my services, and I'm developing this kind of small business, I'd say.
nice. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, what Leah does is so amazing, very helpful. Like I said at the beginning of this call, they all like blow me away because I mean, I think I'm somewhat tech savvy, but then I talk to them and I'm like, oh, never mind. So they just know so much. All right. So AJ, I'll go to you next with the same question. I'll reread it. Something about tech that you think everyone with low vision should know, or just how to kind of get started, or what would you say? You are muted, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It kind of depends on how you are, but I'd say large text, dark mode if you find it easier to read white on black, hack it hack in voiceover. Voiceover here on iPhone you can change text size for specific apps, although this really comes down to whether or not the app developer supports it. I know a few that don't support this very well, which is a little annoying. And for Google Chrome, you don't need an extension for dark mode. So there's a flag in the setting, like buried in like the settings, that will force enable a dark mode for every website.
That's good to know. See, we're learning. And yes, we have this recorded. We're going to send it out again. We will definitely like if anybody has to, I know this is a lot of information. So if you want to go over it again, we have it. So don't you worry if you're here and you're trying to take notes or, we will send it out. And then thank you, AJ. Nuala, what would you say? Something you think everyone should know?
I have a short step algorithm. So the first thing that I want everyone to know, the first is actually this meeting is being transcribed for AI companion. So if you miss anything, there's a little button on the bottom that it looks like a sparkles or like a star or a 4-point star on it. Says AI companion. If you click that, it will give you some prompts that you can ask, and then you can type into the text box, and then an AI will kind of generate the response about the meeting. So first thing is if you need to review something, you can ask, and of course ask us too. But also, something that I deal with is that it takes me a long time to learn new technology. And that can feel like one of the most lonely feelings in the world. And if any of you have ever felt the kind of confusion and feeling left behind in tech, I'm a Gen Z, or the one that is stereotypically known to be really good at tech, and that happens to me too. So you're not alone. And I have the method for that. The first thing is, in whatever you're trying to learn how to do, learn to quit the app and reopen it and stop it when it stalls out. And the second is to click buttons and just watch what they do. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the way to learn tech is to just know how to quit something and restart it if something goes horribly wrong, e.g., computer or the Java compiler that I'm using, and then just start clicking buttons and trying to figure out. And if you troubleshoot, or if you have troubles, just try and troubleshoot by thinking, what was the last thing that I did that might have caused this? And that will kind of help with the technology learning curve. So you're not alone, and just push buttons until things work. That's kind of the best way to learn new tech. And Google online resources if you don't know either. That's also good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you all kind of said a version of kind of play around until you can figure it out, or of course, consult Google. And Leah, if everyone is looking at the chat, Leah is sharing her website and YouTube channel. So we do have some questions in the chat if you guys don't mind taking some questions for us. I can read them off and any of you can jump in. You all three can answer it if you'd like, or if you don't know the answer or you'd rather not answer, that's okay too. Like I said, you're just here to share what you know. So we're not expecting you to know everything, even though you know most things, I would say. But okay, so our first question is what about Apple Vision's? Wait, yeah. What about Apple Vision still not useful for low vision? What the future holds? Do you know about what the future holds for Apple Vision? Um, anyone know anything about Apple Vision?
I'll take a little guess on this. Based on what I have heard and know about Apple, I would definitely say the Vision Pro itself right now, it's absolutely amazing. It basically is a magical piece of technology kind of in the future. And yes, it's not super accessible at the moment, unfortunately. But I do believe Apple will work to make it more accessible, and as developers um, create more apps for it, I think it will become more helpful for us. The Vision Pro that is out right now, I would say was more made for developing it and is packed with a ton of technology that probably won't be seen in a more affordable commercial headset that Apple will make eventually. Right now, I have not heard anything about making a new updated Vision Pro or just new Apple Vision. I know it has the word Pro in it, so I'm not sure if that means that it's like the best and they're developing a more budget-friendly one or not. But I would definitely say right now it isn't great, but I probably will become more accessible soon or eventually. I know Woboka is finally now on the Vision Pro. It's available on it. I didn't get to try it in the Apple Store. I know I was talking about how my experience demoing it was, but it it was pretty cool being able to actually see across my Apple Store again, even without my glasses. just wearing it for the first time in probably 5 to 10 years almost. And so that was just a nice refresher being able to see and know that there was a potential to be able to restore some vision that way. In something like that, or in classes of some sort, eventually, I think we're going that way, and I'm
Is the
excited.
Vision, just for those who don't know, is the Vision Pro glasses? Is that what it is that you put on?
No, it's a VR headset. So
VR
if
headset. Okay.
yeah, if you know what like the Meta Quest is, like gamers wear, it's kind of like that. Instead of just white, it's kind of got a glass front to it, and I'm sure I can pull up a picture of it. But it's a headset. It's not glasses. You wear it, and it's actually really heavy.
Oh,
So
okay.
it gets
Okay.
really uncomfortable really fast. Um, and that is one of the downfalls of the Vision Pro specifically.
Okay. Does AJ or Nula have anything to add on to that?
I'm gonna send you a warning about the Vision Pro actually. So with the Vision Pro, also from what I've seen, is that it is also it can use your eyes as a tracker for whatever you're doing. So warning for all of us with nystagmus. I don't know how that's gonna play out. Lee is actually holding up a picture of the Vision Pro
Oh,
actually.
yeah. Leah, if you want to show that, I don't know if everyone can see that, but it's a large headset type situation.
That thing. Yep.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Leah.
In terms
Okay,
of VR, I have heard of things that do restore vision or do try to do that. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is, but it does exist. I'm not sure if they're like as marketed as say like a Vision Pro or an iPad, but they do exist. In the meantime, we use apps on our mobile devices to suffice until VR catches up.
Yeah. AJ,
okay, I
any?
kind of did some on the fly research. There are more other ways to control it. You can control it based on your head movement, moving your wrist, or using your index finger like index finger.
Uh,
Oh, good to
I'm gonna actually say I tried all three of those, and the only one that worked for me was head tracking. Finger
know.
tracking did not even work at all. I don't know. We found that surprising in the Apple Store. The guy who was helping, he was super nice. But we tried every option, and the only one that worked was head tracking. It was hard at first, and it's really difficult to see the little pointer in the middle, but it's always in the exact center, so that's helpful. But that was the only one that worked for me reliably.
Oh, okay. Good to know. And we also did get a question. I know that's not the same thing as smart glasses, but we also did get a question about smart glasses. They said, I use Meta Ray-Ban. I understand more and more are coming. Anybody have an update that they know about smart glasses of any kind? If you don't, that's okay too.
Uh, I've heard just a little bit. I've used the Envision application for some vision stuff as well. Um, it's all right, but I don't prefer it. And so I'm actually subscribed to their email list, and they have developed some glasses that I think speak out things to you, so they can say if you're about to run into something, or they'll announce people's names when they come in to the room, which I would find really helpful for the many times that I don't recognize people, since uh I don't always know people's voices, and that's how I recognize people. But that is the only one that I know of that is developed specifically for visual aid of some sort. And it can also like read out text if you look at something like piece of paper or something like that. It can read out things like that, but it doesn't display anything or override your vision and use cameras. It's all voice and cameras that it uses to gather information and then spit it out in audio.
Awesome. AJ or Nula, anything to add on that, or you want to move on? You're not all required to answer every question. I just want to give you an opportunity if you have
One
anything
of
else.
the most important parts of tech is admitting that you don't know yet. So
That's okay. Yep,
I
I agree.
I haven't really tried any VR mixed reality outside of like Oculus Quest, although interestingly, it does sort of do finger tracking.
Okay.
hacking so you can use the windows like a tablet. It is infinitely more inconvenient than just using the controllers.
Okay, good to know. Someone asked, what can AI actually do for visually impaired people? Have any of you had experience with AI being helpful for
Every
anything
day.
every day? Give us some updates or
So you
give
know
us
how I
an
said I was
example.
a math major? Sorry.
Math
You know, I
major,
said I'm a
yes.
math major. I get vision fatigue like maybe the rest of y'all do. Y'all might relate to this. Vision fatigue kind of stinks at the end of the day. So I'm writing away in my equations. I'm doing whatever. I could be writing an essay and I'm like, I don't have the visual strength to look at this 1,200 word essay, this 3-page long math problem, and meticulously check it. So I'll sometimes use ChatGPT to be like, hey, can you check this and tell me where I went wrong and make sure that it kind of reasons and doesn't just do the predictor text. Um, there's like a button you can hit on ChatGPT that says reason please, or like reason and it will. Sometimes it'll do it on its own, and I'm like, hey, will you check this? And then it'll tell me, and I can use it to both boost my learning and then also make sure that I don't submit something horrible. That works for everything. Of course, AI is in apps like Seeing AI. So that's also a really good application for that as well. It can generate, of course, it can generate ideas if you're a little low on brain power the day of. I think I've seen people put there's a limit to this, but of how many times you can do this, but you can put an image into it and then go, "Hey, what does this image say?" And it's actually apparently pretty good at telling you.
I've
Yeah.
used feature and it's solid.
For Be My Eyes or
Um,
Seeing AI, you said.
Be My Eyes,
Be
but
My Eyes. Sorry. There are a few different ones
seeing
that I was getting. Okay.
yeah,
For Be
seeing
My Eyes.
AI, it does a good job reading text, like print text, if you can get a good picture, excuse me, a good picture of printed text, um, that has good light, it can do an awesome job for that. Describing a scene or something, I would say is pretty vague. Be My Eyes is better at it because it uses AI, or better AI.
So Be
But yeah,
My Eyes and Seeing AI for anyone confused. Those are both apps that you can download. And then Leah shared Be My Eyes in the chat as well as Oko. Is that how you say it? So if anyone wants to
yes, that's
that.
Oko.
Also, Perry is sharing a lot of cool things in the chat. If anyone is able to look at all of that, I don't know if I'll be able to read it all
I'll
aloud.
take a look.
But Perry's showing a lot of great things. AJ or Leah, do you want to share anything else about how AI helps you daily in your daily life with low vision?
This isn't specifically low vision, but this is one way that I use ChatGPT specifically. I use my ChatGPT to help me give advice on things or researching stuff. I really just like being able to ask ChatGPT questions and then it can search the web or knows things and tells me instead of having to Google and then read through about 20 articles. Just helps cut down time. And ChatGPT's application is really accessible. I really like the dog mode and you can bump up the text size pretty well. I haven't tried it with voiceovers too much, but it has worked pretty well with it. And yeah, that's just a little bit of what it does for me.
Awesome. And that does save on visual fatigue if you're not having to read through all the Google, so I feel like it can relate back to vision in that way too, which is awesome.
I did it on my Java compiler. There's a bunch of buttons at the top and the sides, and I was like, there are like 50 buttons on here. Hey, ChatGPT, how do I make this program not break when I try to run it? And then it told me.
Ah, nice.
It's
Uh,
also really helpful. I'm a programmer, being able to just spit in code and have it tell me what's wrong, which it doesn't always get right. It doesn't, but it does help cut down to where I need to look.
awesome. And AJ, what about you? Do you enjoy using AI?
Uh, well, I haven't really used it. I could possibly see it later on where it can automatically figure out voiceover labels for apps, even if they don't specifically support it. Because I believe right now you have to specifically label each button for voiceover use.
Gotcha.
And that could be like really helpful for like icons if it can know what that icon is going to do. So if you hover over like the plus icon, it could say create new whatever. Even if the app didn't specifically say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And people in the chat, the chat is blowing up over here. If you're if you're able to look at it, we're talking about ambient technology like Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa. Any of those you can talk to seem to be helpful to some people for sure. And we're also
Apple Intelligence, which is another thing you have to download.
Apple
That
Intelligence.
can become your assistant. For me, I can highlight text and then I do like a 2-finger tap on my trackpad and it'll bring up some writing tools that I can use. That's kind of the corrective stuff that you need. And it can also generate images, generate ideas. It's really helpful. It's basically like some of the things that ChatGPT can do very conveniently on your device if you're Apple. And I think Windows might have something. Copilot is Microsoft.
Yeah, that's Copilot.
And then yeah, it can also, if you're on the internet and have a ChatGPT account, it will also talk to ChatGPT. So Apple Intelligence is one of the other things you can use. It's like Siri with some other things baked into it.
I
Nice.
think you can integrate ChatGPT without an account now. It used to be that you had to have an account, but I'm pretty sure now you can just enable it to ask ChatGPT, which it makes it so much better.
Yeah. And Leah is sharing a lot of the apps in the chat. If you're able to look, Be My Eyes, Seeing AI, Reboka, all of the things we mentioned, Leah's been popping in the chat. So thanks for that, Leah. A lot of people are sharing we have a lot of tech savvy adults over here in the chat too. So we're all just sharing fun.
Quick tip for Siri that I totally didn't just accidentally discover. If you say, hey, describe this, it will open Magnify with audio descriptions. I'm not sure if this.
Yeah, say that again.
If you enable Siri and then just say describe this, you can also just type this into the Apple Intelligence hints prompt. It will open magnifier and enable audio description.
That is incredible. I'm trying that.
Thank you.
In the Apple call, AJ.
Does anyone here have a more basic question? Is everybody, I know some people here are very tech savvy, some people might be starting out. Is everybody understanding what we're talking about, like what shortcuts are or other things we're mentioning? Does anybody need us to rewind and explain anything we've been talking about?
Definitely don't be shy. I've been sitting in a room of tech savvy people completely new to the situation.
Like I said, agreed, Nuala. We will be sending the recording too, so you can go back. Is it Ator? You have your hand raised. Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question, and I apologize if it's not a simple question because I'm probably I started to use my computer in 1984, so I always say to everyone, this is the most important thing that has been happening in our life. So I'm someone who grew up without any touch, any support. So I have to do my life without any kind of adaptation. But then I became savvy at the age of 30. So that's where in some way I learned. I'm an adult learner. And I find that, first of all, thank you for doing this because this is an amazing workshop connection. It's great that everyone is here because obviously everyone has different knowledge. And I'm very thankful to all of the 3 presenters because they are amazing as well, because they show me the future where we are going to. I think that to me, what is really important is to raise the fact that technology is here, and I realize that asking open question to all this AI is actually more helpful than anything else. If you don't know, ask. If you don't have an answer, ask even ChatGPT or DeepSeek, and they will come up with the visual impairment solution that I never thought about that. So that's what I want to share with everyone. So don't be shy, just try and try what you don't know.
That's
Thank you
great.
anyway.
I love
Well,
that.
thank
That's
you.
gonna be my
We're so
catchphrase.
glad that you're here. Thank you for being so active in the chat and
Yeah.
your knowledge too.
I'm gonna make
Uh,
that my catchphrase. Don't be shy, just try.
yeah, I love that. And we know
I did this when I was learning VS Code, like a coding environment, and Eclipse, a different coding environment. I love them both dearly. I did exactly what you did, Atori. I hope I'm saying your name right. I asked ChatGPT, why isn't this working? Here's my problem, and then it helped me fix it. And then I helped my teacher troubleshoot a problem. So
awesome. And I think as people with low vision, we're used to having to ask a lot of questions sometimes and having to kind of swallow our pride and just ask for help if we need it. So I think that goes along with a lot of what we can be learning here. Andrew has a question.
Yes,
Anyone have a favorite?
I have a question.
Go on. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Who is this?
Yemi, Adeyemi
Oh, hello. What's your
from
question? And then we'll
from
get to
UK. How can I learn AI companion? What is that?
oh, that's in the Zoom. So if you want to use so if you're talking about Zoom's AI companion, this app, I'm gonna write the directions in the chat. So there should be a panel of options. So where your microphone is, your camera button is, participants, all of those things. There should be a glowing like 4-point star, like a glowing star thing that says the words AI companion on it. Then if you hit that, what will happen is you should see this little pop-up window, and it should have some things like catch me up, was my name mentioned, are there actions, what topics. You can click those and the AI will generate a response. Or you can go into the text field where your cursor is blinking, ask me questions about this meeting, and type your own question. So that's AI companion for this. I will put those directions in the chat for you to read as well. Let me know if you need help finding the chat or anything else. And if you're talking about other AI, the best way to learn it is to just go to the AI and ask it, what can you do? And it will give you its little laundry list of things that it's able to do. And just try prompts and see its response, learn from it, know where its faults are, just practice with it.
Yeah,
Is-
thank you.
I see, Wes, you have your hand up too.
Yes, yeah, I have
I'm
like
sorry.
I kind of told this on the last call, but I thought it'd be interesting here
Thank you.
because like when I'm out and about, I use my phone a lot. I use the phone and the Reboca app to help me with reading stuff and things, and and it's like I didn't realize this until one time, a couple times, I found myself at the store and I had forgot my phone or left my phone at home. And I'm just feel totally dead in the water when it comes to shopping if I don't have my phone because I have no idea, how much things weigh, what's their best by date, sometimes, or even what's in the box. And I showed up at the store as like, I wish I could find some totally blind people here that can help me with my shopping, because if I don't have that phone, I'm like dead in the water, when it comes to like buying groceries. So I don't know if anybody else experienced this or not.
So are you
It,
asking if you leave your phone at home, maybe what's a workaround for that?
but I want to have many people. I just tell this experience I had with dealing with
Yeah.
technology, and it's just that I've been high partial all my life, and I used to have good close-up vision, so I could still read the boxes and stuff. But until I had cataract surgery, but since then I cannot read the small print. I just can't hold it up close; it just becomes a blur. And
Right.
so, unless I have a magnifying glass, reading glasses, or my phone, it's like I'm totally up a creek. And as I say, one time, or at least a couple times, I've been to the store, and no phone, and like, what's in the box? How much does it weigh? You know,
Yeah, so
and
do any of our panelists do you have any other tech you carry with you other than the phone, or is the phone the thing you rely on most, or do you have any other recommendations if that you're in that situation without a phone?
Excuse me. Again. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Is there any equivalent of seeing AI made by Apple? Equivalent of seeing AI that is made
You
by
want the
Apple.
link to Seeing AI?
But made
Yes.
by Apple.
Yeah.
But you need a phone for that.
Equivalent. Yeah.
Seeing AI is compatible on an iPad. It's not made by Apple. It's actually made by a different company. I sent the link in chat. I can absolutely send that
Oh, I have
again.
seen it.
It's
That's not a
free,
problem.
I think, as well. So it's
But I
free.
just want to, just kind of tell the experience I deal with technology is that, it's like if I don't have my phone with me, I can't shop for groceries.
I
Right.
would say that they're always ask the employees, and at least half the time they're rolling around with the big carts. So,
Yeah.
or they're, I don't know if they'll have the logo on their shirt. That's kind of the best way to tell. Or, and a lot of, and what you can do with it is just say, hey, I need help finding XYZ. They'll help you out. I think Be My Eyes links you up with a person. So if you need more specific guidance, you can
Okay,
try
no Be
that.
My Eyes. I have no phone. So I'm trying to do this pre-smartphone times, it's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
now how do totally blind people shop, before they had smartphones? But say
See,
again, I'm very
They
wishy.
Sure.
I'm a
asked for
totally
help
blind
and
person.
used
Yeah.
orientation and mobility
It can help me with my
skills to,
shopping at these
yeah.
times.
Asking for help is a good idea. Now, we are running a little low on time, and I see Andrew, I'm so sorry, Scott. I see Scott, you have your hand raised, but I do want to get to Andrew's question because we skipped over it a minute ago. Anyone have a favorite Linux distro for low vision? I don't know what that means because I'm not very tech savvy, but does any
Oh, I should know what that is. I'm a tech person. Distro.
Linux distro? It looks like Leah, you said you've never had the
Isn't
chance.
there a thing called like Linux, which is Linux for
Linux.
visually impaired people?
Or distribution, Linux distribution.
I heard
Yeah.
Ubuntu's good.
Oh.
I want to try learning Linux really badly because I'm really excited. So in tech savvy words, I'm really getting tired of the GUI and I would love a command line to see what that's like. In the non-tech persons, I would love to have to stop looking at icons and just have a text box where I type commands and then things very simply happen on my screen and make my life easier. So I really need to try Linux.
So it sounds like no one has tried it, but thank you for the question. Scott, what do you have? What question do you have
Time
for
to
us?
get a virtual machine, guys.
I more wanted to comment on to Wes.
Yeah.
An old school way is the best way. I work part-time in a grocery store, and we actually have two legally completely blind people that shop in our store. They just come to the counter and say, I need assistance, and they get someone that walks the store with them.
So that's what they do. It's like, no, I don't totally blind people kind of learn the feel of the weight of the box to tell the weight. And what do? Do they sniff it, scratch it, shake it, or what? To determine what's inside of it?
No, they, like I just
They
said,
need to taste it, to, I mean, what,
Well, like Scott said, you would get assistance,
Yep.
hopefully.
In our store, we have, like I say, mother and a father. Now, ironically, their daughter is now 3, and she is now going to start being their eyes for them. But before that, I mean, they just get a clerk, in the store, walks through and tells them the sizes, tells them what it is, tells them everything.
So
Okay,
shout
so
out
there's no
to
little tricks they do to kind of determine the contents of the box, the
I
best by
don't.
date and the
I guess
weight.
not. We're getting a little off topic of tech here, though. I do appreciate the question, but let's take
right.
Tor has his hand raised, and then we do have another call after this. So
I'll say
unfortunately,
the last thing I'll say about the shopping
Yeah.
thing is just very simple. I learned it, shout out to like Fizzy's Lunch Lab, shopping the U, and that basically means the corners of the store, you have fruit and then your dairy, and then you can kind of go around in the corner to get your basics before going into the middle. Okay.
Leah also uses a monocular on occasion, she says in the chat. Tor, do you have another question?
Just quickly share this sunflower initiative that I wear every day. So it's for hidden disabilities that I don't know how common is in US, but it's a worldwide initiative where you share with others that you may need help. And in many stores, for example, here or airport, people without using a white cane or special assistance. They come to you and they are usually friendly. Not everyone seems to know. My experience in LA airport was positive because everyone came to me and was friendly and supporting. Do you need help and so on? But I don't know how wide is distributed is around the world. But it's a global initiative. I wear my sunflower every day, and it's. But I guess Wes badge I always suggest is the better one. I may look good, but I can't see well.
Yeah.
Have a button like that on my coat.
Oh, nice. You have the button too, sunflower?
I have seen it
I've not
on
even known this.
Instagram, and I have seen it become a thing. I don't know if it's as widespread in America, but I would say yes. So as an American, I have heard of it thanks to the internet. So I think you could probably get somewhere with it as well.
Yeah, I've heard of it too. So that is, hopefully it is becoming more widespread.
That's
Um,
also really pretty. I love that.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions we can answer quick?
Yeah, any final questions?
If you, I noticed somebody did ask about getting links that were sitting in the chat. I'm sure that Casey can get those links from us. Or if you want to, I did send my iAccessibility email address in chat. If you wanted to reach out and ask for those links, I can happily send those to you that way too.
Yes, I will send I can send these links in the email with the recording. And I can also send the if you're all okay with your contact information being shared, if people have questions after this for you.
My email, yes.
Yeah, your email, yes. Any tech questions via email. And I know Leah has her iAccessibility email where she actually answers questions as a side business. So that is a great place to go, a great resource to go to. You all came with such great questions and the chat was rocking and rolling. It was very, very fun.
Thank you all.
We definitely will have to do a part 2 of this. I think
Actually, there is one last thing that I am going to do.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
going to ask I think there's problems with the AI companion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy the AI response that it gives to me, and then I'm going to paste it into the chat so people can then copy it on their own time, because I know people are having problems with it. So the AI updates were this. Boop. Enjoy.
Well, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much to our panelists. They're the best. I obviously said that at the beginning of the call, and now you actually get to see what I get to see because I've known them all for a while, and they all blow me away with their knowledge of technology. So I think if we learned anything today, play around. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Press some buttons. Use AI as much as you can. Google as much as you can. We're going to send you the names of apps.
I also wanted to quick say I
Yeah.
didn't get support for my disability until I was about 15 years old, so
Yeah.
I was all on my own.
Yeah, and you
You
did
guys
so well
have a
learning
great
them
day.
by yourself. Yeah.
Excuse
Oh,
me,
me too.
please. Excuse me, please.
Uh-huh.
Is AI an application on its own, or is this part of Apple Intelligence?
Yeah, it's just AI
Oh,
just stands for artificial intelligence. So it's not an app on its own. It's just anything that uses
It
artificial.
is a concept, which basically means that a computer is able to think and respond to you without being explicitly told what to say. That makes
mhm.
it really helpful for asking for help because it can think about what it can do to help you. It can search the web for you. There are apps that use AI, but AI is like its own thing and
Yes.
its own way of computing.
It's a huge umbrella of things, but some of the things we've mentioned tonight, Chat GPT, seeing AI,
DeepSeek.
all of those things are artificial intelligence. So,
Or use some artificial intelligence, like Be My Eyes only uses some artificial intelligence.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, but
Thank you.
that's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Welcome.
Love AI.
You know, it's fast, it's growing quickly, and we've all got to like try to learn about it,
Yeah.
like
Thing is, you can make
quickly.
AI accounts on different things for free, so
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much to Nuala, Aaliyah, and AJ for joining us tonight. And if anyone's interested in a part 2 or has more questions, let us know, because I know it's so hard to even scratch the
how
surface.
often do you do this workshop?
I'm sorry?
How often? How often does this
Oh, how often?
workshop
Well, we
take-
don't
yes.
have a plan for another one, but if there's interest, we can definitely, if the panelists are willing to come
I would
back.
love to. I'm
share their
down.
I'd
time with us.
absolutely love to be able to share
We're just
more.
trying to see how this
I
one
wouldn't
went
mind.
first, and if it was successful, but it looks like a lot of people enjoyed it. So yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your interest. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you
Um,
for having
Stay
us.
warm if you're in a cold place. I am. It's snowing outside for me. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Be checking the website, albinism.org, for all of the upcoming calls. And if we do another call like this, you'll already be on the list. So we'll email you. So check your emails too.
Every
All
3
right.
months. Every
Yeah,
3
thank you
months.
very much. Thank you,
almost.
everybody. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you.